Well, hello once again to all of you fine and wonderful people. My name is Sam and I welcome you once again to the newest episode of Weird Mind Newsroom, where for this week we will be focusing on more of the new releases, some trailers, and a variety of news stories and the focus of the week has to offer. So let's not waste stop on the intros and let's get the focus talking all things media for another week.
Hello, gorgeous.
Our first new release of the week is asking the usual question about the ideals, wondering if you like scary movies. But it seems like it may be a point that people are becoming accustomed to the question, as the point is time, because it looks like we're going into the discussion that we went from meta commentary of slashers, sequels, reboots, and bigger budgets to where it's now hitting home and looking to burn it all down, as it's time for the killer in the iconic mask to return once more with the release of Scream 7. Now the film will be seeing the new form of the iconic Ghostface killer emerging in the quiet town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life. Her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. Determined to protect her family, Sidney must face the horrors of her past but an end to the bloodshed once and for all. Now reception on the 7 entry has not been the most well received, and as the writing is currently the lowest rated entry of this series, with critiques on the over-elaborate plot and too much reliance on nostalgia from the series, alongside a whole drama and controversy that has cursed the production for about 3 years now. There were some elements of the performance of the returning Neve Campbell and a kill or two in the entry is well liked. Now I'm not one that's really interested much in this series anyway, I'm really kind of boycotting the regards because of all this shit, but if you want to see it and look past the drama, then you can check it out now in cinemas. Our first show of the week is seeing as that we have been quite a while and may be well due for a long overdue checkup for your health, which I fully understand avoiding cause medical bills can be very expensive, but it looks like it has been quite a while since we have made a trip to this specific hospital, but it looks like some familiars are still working their magic touch to make us better when necessary, as we're returning to Sacred Heart Hospital after nearly 15 years, as with the release of the new reboot to Scrubs. The new season will receive the return of JD, Turk, Elliot, and some other familiar faces as they navigate through life and middle age at Sacred Heart Medical, and will blend a sense of nostalgia with something new, as they must also navigate and help train and mentor new staff and interns in a more changed medical landscape. Reception on this new season so far seems to be very well received, with praising the return of the humor, its tone and appeal of the series that seems to be a lot more structured and has fixed the complaints of the final season of the original series. If you're ready for your medical checkup, you can catch the first 2 episodes now on Hulu and Disney Plus, with a new episode releasing every Wednesday. On the second show of the week is taking us to the realm of a Titan-based scale for the next series, as we have heard of many legends of Titans and mysteries of a company that have proven to be a case that is still very new secrets of creatures of great and small still to be discovered. As after a 2-year gap, we have the release of the upcoming 2nd season of the popular MonsterVerse series of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. The new season will pick up with the fate of Monarch and the world hanging in the balance, as the new season reveals buried secrets to unite the heroes and villains on Kong Skull Island, and to a new mysterious village where a mythical titan will rise from the sea. Reception for the 2nd season so far has gotten some well-received reception praise on the continuing story, its visuals and characters, even if reception at the moment is a little lower than season 1, if it's still a success. If you want to return to this world, and you can catch the first episode now on Apple TV Plus, with new episodes releasing every Friday. For last of the shows for this week, we'll be back to the realm of high class, mystery, romance, steamy love, and a fair bit of fucking is back for the 2nd time around, as we have the release now of the 2nd volume of the complete rest of the 4th season of Bridgerton. This will continue the Cinderella type love story between Sophie Beck and Benedict Bridgerton, and how they will work around Sophie's overbearing stepmother and help to find their happily ever after. Now reception on the 2nd part of the season is very well received, and seen as a strong ending to the season that started off a little slow and ends on a loving ending and some great reveal twists to entice people back for another round. And if you're ready to see the love story continue and find out the ending yourself, then you can catch the full season all out now on Netflix. And for my last of the releases for the week, is the only game title of the week is a big one. A title many of us have been waiting for well over 5 years for, and return to a series that will not stay dead, as a new wave of infection is about to take hold, and it will come down to a duo of heroes, one new and one fan favorite, to solve this case and restore the world from certain destruction. As we finally have the release of the 9th numbered entry in the long-running series with Resident Evil Requiem. And the game will have you play as FBI tech analyst Grace Ashcroft, who was dispatched to investigate a series of strange deaths discovered at the Wrenwood Hotel, location where her mother Alyssa had died 8 years prior, as well as the case of also finding yourself back in Raccoon City, which has been about 3 decades since the destruction of the city at the end of RE3, to try and learn the secrets and solve the mystery of the virus taking a toll on many innocent lives. But you'll not be doing this alone, as you'll soon cross paths with a familiar face who survived that city outbreak and has seen secrets and ordeals waiting to be resolved. Reception on this new entry in the series is in some very high praise. Reception will praise on the story, gameplay differences per playable character, visuals, and for return to form of the series, and seen now as one of the best reviewed entries of the series, and already seen as a Game of the Year contender, which I agree from a small play so far of my 2 streams I've done so far. If you want to play it for yourself, then you can play it now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC. For all that regards, that's all the new releases that we have for this week.
Pay attention, I said your favorite word, the Backrooms.
The first of the trailers for this week is one that initially was just going to be put into the news section because I thought it was going to be a release day announcement, but we got a small teaser for this appeared as it caused an anomaly and sucked us down to a strange and unsettling but familiar feeling taking place, as it's time for another YouTuber to make their presence into the world of film and cinema, and while you think it's someone new, it's actually a project that's got them very popular on the site itself, getting a full-fledged movie adaptation, as with the release of the first trailer for the film by Kane Parsons for the film version of The Backrooms. Now, based on the creepypasta and video series by Parsons, the film will follow a therapist who will soon be entering a strange and unsettling world found in a department store in search of finding her missing patient. So I remember someone special to me, and always will be special, has introduced me to this project and was invested in the whole concept from the onset, from this strange way you're suddenly pulled into this world. It's maze-like aesthetic that feels familiar but also very scary, and just the expanding lore he created before the end went a little too wild and a bit too mad with it all. But I will always thank them for introducing it to me and their wonderful curiosities that they always have. On the likes of the film, I have been interested to follow this since he announced about 2 or 3 years ago and wondered would it work well as a full-length movie. Though the videos he has made varies from around 30 seconds to about 45 minutes or so, but maybe with some familiar actors and from what I've heard was okay test screenings, it could be worth a watch. And thankfully, it's not too long away from it to release either, as the film will be making a trek to this place unknown on the 29th of May. For the second trailer of the week, it's time to see the case of the bringing together another round of some of the most powerful people and fighters to come together to fight for a particular cause, and for all to test their might, with a new but famous mortal about to be in over his head, as it's time for round 2, as with the release of the second trailer for Mortal Kombat 2. Now the film will follow on from the first reboot film and follow the fan favorite camp champions, which now includes them recruiting the legendary action film star of Johnny Cage, as they're pitted against one another in the ultimate battle to defeat the Dark Lord of Shao Kahn that threatens the very existence of the Earth realm and its defenders. So in the case of anything, I can say that the films based on the series, the live action ones in particular, the anime ones are pretty solid. I see the case of the original as a classic and the follow-up as a massive downgrade. The newest one that did come out had some great potential that may be a little lacking in the narrative, but just showing potential going in all the bloody and ordeal. It really seems to have a lock-in with a more likable character from the series and showing more of a layered form of Cage this time around. Where the first trailer was all out crazy, this one has more focus on narrative while also having that flair to the games. And honestly, it looks really exciting. And I'll be checking this out for sure, as you can, when the second round will make its way into cinemas from the 15th of May. Our last of the trailers for this week was initially going to be one that was set for the news section, but looking over the announcements of the Direct, it was mainly just new updates to already released content on mobile and console, but there was one focus at the very end that did bring a lot of appeal, and a new generation is about to begin, as coming in on Pokemon Day, we were given the official unveiling of the 10th generation title with Pokemon Winds and Waves. The new game will be the latest generation title of the series and will have you as your custom Pokemon trainer as you travel across what looks like a vast island location full of vast lush jungles and wide ocean and reefs to obtain and be the greatest Pokemon master of the lands, sea and air, with a selection of new starters at your disposal. So it's been quite a minute since the unveiling of the newest generation of the series, and it looks like with all that time and focus since then that they have proven that they can make anything look really nice and shiny, and from the small tease alone, it does look like visually beautiful. Some of the Pokemon look great, and the new stars I really vibe with, from Brout, the little bird character, Gweka, and Pombon, who is the one that in the world who's only been in the world for about a few days now, and I will protect that dog with my life. I hope they will go all in the engine in particular, but I guess we will see in due time, as it's still a bit away from the newest entry we'll be releasing onto the Switch 2 console sometime next year. Of all that regards, that's all the trailers that we have for this week.
I can't believe it. They're really gone. My boys.
Now the next story in focus for this week is a bit of a hodgepodge roundup, as we will be giving a focus in the weeks, one mainly in the area of some casting additions, as well as 1 or 2 release date announcements or changes that may have occurred from this week, but we'll delve into those now and see what is given to us from the week in entertainment. So we will start off with the release date changes and announcements, and the first one I see as being a title that many have been very excited to get their official hands on, as the official title in focus when we get to expect the event, as the claws are coming out soon, as the title of the upcoming Marvel game from Insomniac based on Wolverine has been confirmed for release on September 15th of this year, fitting in the time setting of the fall 2026 release calendar they had set for this year in particular. Now personally, I see this as being a solid time setting for date for the titles, giving it a bit of a time to play this new game from the Marvel universe of games before any title from November gets absolutely overlooked or shadowed by the biggest game of the year of Grand Theft Auto 6. But I am very much excited for this title, as the first bit of footage looks proper solid. I know we are expecting to get a new look at this sometime this spring, and I'm all foreseeing this, some of all the gameplay in the title soon enough, and really does look really great. I'll be for sure picking this up when it releases in September. I intend to either wear this when it comes out, but I'll see when it comes around. As for the second release date in focus for this week is one that we have already initially gotten a release date for in the past, but instead of a confirmed date, it is seeing the hiring of a certain PI being held back just a little longer than expected. As was announced earlier this week that the planned new FPS title of Mouse PI for Hire has been delayed by an extra month and will now be coming out on April 16th from its initially planned March 19th release date. Now, it's not to do with adding some new features or extra pieces in the title, but rather it's to just give the extra time for the polish of the title, making sure all bugs and errors and problems are ironed out before the game is ready to hit the store shelves, which I fully get. I understand the case of wanting to make sure the game is released in a proper solid state, and I can do with a small delay overall, as I'll be busy with some other titles in the process, and every bit of footage I've seen from this game has me more enticed overall, and I'll be for sure giving this a proper look into when I'm hired for the job when it comes knocking sometime in April. Heading over to casting now, and we'll start with a series that's already been well deep into the story narrative that we've been set out to establish. In the case, I'm sure it'll be given even more creepy and kooky, possibly a little more spooky, and maybe a little more loopy as we talk a little more member of the Addams family. As we have much discussion that the third season of the show was really well into production, as of this week with a focus of a confirmed cast members making a return from the previous seasons. But there was one more new addition to the roster, and it's a familiar face in the world of media created by Tim Burton, as it was announced that Winona Ryder has been cast in the upcoming third season of the show and is confirmed to be portraying the character known as Tabitha, and joining the rest of the cast, which includes Jenna Ortega, Emma Myers, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Louise Guzman, and also another new addition of Eva Green set to portray the role of Aunt Ophelia. So it looks like a fair bit of stacked cast growing more and more with each season. It will be intriguing to see if this season will turn it all around, as the second season was one that people were a little more mixed on over the well-liked first season, but I'm sure we'll get an idea of that in due time. Overall, I'll keep an eye on the production if when we can expect a new season, and given the series now being filmed in Ireland, I want to see if I can find a way into this set for as an extra or something, but I'll figure it out. But I guess we'll find it in due time. But if anyone more new additions or casts are provided, I'll provide them up in a later episode. As for the next casting, we're keeping it in some form of the horror, but we're moving it over a little to the realm of the supernatural and sci-fi, as we've got an official update on the planned new take on the X-Files is being made by Sinners and Creed director Ryan Coogler. Now, the series has been in the works for a little while now, with him developing the project shortly after, possibly a bit before the recent awards season winning film has been making the rounds, and I feel it will make an interesting take on the beloved series in the 90s, and many had wondered if we have any idea of when we will start hearing some first concepts of a cast join the fray. Well, thankfully, that changed this week with the first casting edition of the project, as it was announced that the piano lesson and I Saw the TV Globe actress Daniela Deadwyler have been cast in the show in an undisclosed role. Now, it's unclear if it was the case that she could be a main lead as a new series version of Dana Scully, or someone in the department that would work for, but I'm sure we'll get an idea of that in due course, because I feel it would make the most sense with Coogler at the helm, as well as him confirming this week that he'll be directing the pilot episode. I'm trying to see him take on the series. I'm sure we'll have a unique vision of the overall project, but I guess we'll see in due time. If there's any more new updates on the project or more new cast announcements, of course I'll provide that in a later episode. The last of the casting announcements is one once again taking us back to the world of adaptations, and for this case we're stepping back into the era of the Norse gods, as we're once again talking on the upcoming adaptation of the God of War series. There's two bits to talk about with this, and this is our official first look and the confirmed casting of another lead. And I will start with the casting. Now, initially I mentioned a while ago that Boots actor Max Parker will be portraying the role of Balder, who was somewhat of the main antagonist of the 2018 title, but that was soon changed when it was confirmed now that the actor will be portraying the role of Heimdall, who appears in the Ragnarok sequel and will be cast at a later date. Well, it was finally given that later date, as we have got a replacement for the unkillable god, as it was confirmed that Jurassic World Rebirth and Deadpool actor Ed Skrein has been cast as Balder for this series. Now, personally, I do not mind his portrayal of the character, as you can see him fit the look, and I'm sure he'll have the build for the character, but most question I have is if the character will have much of a presence in this series, as it seems that a lot of the casting has been with the characters for the second game of Ragnarok, but maybe they are adapting aspects of the 2018 game, but I guess we'll find out in due time. Now, as for the first look, I find actually this was just a bit of time before we actually start filming, but on Friday we got the official look at both Kratos and Atreus in the series, and I think personally it does look decent, though it also looks a little weird or off. I think for the look of the characters and design is that they look really great and accurate to the games. Even if Atreus looks a little younger than I expected, I feel they need to maybe fix his hairstyle, but overall I like the look. But on the way it looks weird. Initially I thought it was just like an AI picture because I saw it was published by the official accounts, and stars it was mainly from the perception I saw from looking at Kratos, because it looks like he was just added in or feels really out of focus. I think as a first image I feel it would have worked a little better if it was a case of get the focus of the God of War himself and a more menacing look to really sell it, because I'm still a little excited but also a little off. Maybe I need to see some footage in action or then an image to sell me more on this, but I'll keep my hope on this outcome. Also, I think the main lead actor has been like posting cryptic clues about on his stories, but I guess we'll see. Now at the moment we have no clue on when we expect this project now, or if there's any still more cast to be announced, but if you know, I will update whenever I hear anything in this particular instance. For the last of this hodgepodge collection of stories is sort of its own separate entity compared to the one presented to us in terms of casting and dates, as we're talking a little on some franchising for the last one. So we've seen many different forms of universes and franchises, from the MCU, the ill-fated DCU, the new DCU, the short-lived Dark Universe, and a fair few more. But in this case, we're talking another franchise that's gotten some form of news, and that is with the Sony universe of Marvel characters that doesn't have Spider-Man. Now, to say this universe has been on the full of ups and downs fans has been quite the understatement. As you've seen, the franchise is about 6 total films with a Venom trilogy, Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web, and of course Morbius. And from the whole ordeal, the series has been full of poor reception, mixed appeal at box office, and some sense of meme material, and it seemed from the release of Kraven that it was where it was all going to end. Until just news this week that was announced that Sony is planning to reboot this universe in some form of way. Now, it's unclear if this would like bringing these versions of the characters back for more follow-ups of having Kraven, it's Morbin time once again, Venom, and Vulture becoming the starting form of a Sinister Six, and bringing in another 2 additions for the group, or even the case of it being another recast and then possibly bringing in Spider-Man to go against these villains and anti-heroes, given that there's been a lot of discussion to bring back Andrew Garfield's take on the character to give him a proper trilogy, and to have him the Sonyverse fight. The other approach that they could go with the reboots that they keep the animated form was they mentioned about an animated movie based on Venom last week, and given this the first 2 in the Spider-Verse trilogy, it could have its appeal with its very interesting art style for these movies, but how things are on the idea of where things are going, I really have no clue on the outcome at this moment. But I will give a look, and hopefully this will work out more for the better than just another disaster. Now currently it's all in early days and nothing has been set in stone as of yet, but if it's any new updates, I'll provide that in a later episode. But what do you think of all these stories? Are you going to pick up Wolverine day 1 or later this year? Are you excited for the new Mouse PI game? Do you think Winona Ryder will be fit well into the Wednesday series, and who will she have a presence in the new series? Would you see Danielle play in the new X-Files series? What are your thoughts on the scare in his boulder and on the first look image? And do you see the planned reboot of the Sonyverse being a success or another mess altogether? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. So this last story is one that has hurt me this week. A story that's put me in a low mood when it was their job to make people smile, because we have some news relating to one of the most beloved shows of recent memory. On Thursday morning, Adult Swim socials and YouTube released a video that had Michael Cusack and Zach Hadel, or Psychic Pebbles, coming on to announce some sad news that Smiling Friends has officially come to an end with the conclusion of season 3. Now, this has seen a lot of upset online as there's so many people that seen the show as beacon of light, entertainment and humor when it was needed the most, and also ordeal that the show was also announced back at Annecy last summer to be getting a renewal for a 4th and 5th season, where it seemed they were aiming to end it with that 5th season. Personally, I'm distraught about it ending, as this show has really helped me through some really tough times currently and beforehand, and I have followed these creators for a long time now. That see them come to an end is sad, but I understand that it was not by Adult Swim's doing, rather this was all their decision by the creatives themselves, that they made what they wanted by the time being and plan to still work together on new projects for the studio. It is, however, not the end, as was confirmed as a whole for a while. Another 2 episodes of the season was thrown around and rumored for a bit, but it was confirmed with this announcement, with a 9th and 10th episode of this 3rd season dropping on April 12th to wrap it all up. Now, the vagueness of it all that does resolve confusion is that it's not been cancelled, they're just ending it for the time being, but have also said they may return to the show in some form of future, maybe like a special or something like that. But they've also talked a little bit about making a full-length movie about this at some point in the future's conclusion, but maybe I'm hearing this wrong. And some, even just a small amount myself, is believing that this is actually an all very long elaborate April Fool's joke and that the 4th season is actually dropping on April instead, but I guess we'll see by the 12th itself for the outcome. If it is the end for the series for the moment, and I just want to thank the creators for bringing us such a funny, inventive and visually creative show of fun adventures, and all the animators and production for making the show and for making many of us, like myself, smile when we needed them most. But what are your thoughts on all this? Do you think this show is ending properly, or is this an elaborate April Fool's prank, and will we see these characters again in the near future? Let me know what you think down below and we discuss it there. And with all that regards, that's all the news that we have for this week. And now with all regards, that ends episode 145 of Weird Mind Newsroom, and I hope you enjoyed these ramblings for another week. Now I'm going to fly through this conclusion and get through this as quick as I can. So reviews wise, I am currently writing away at some of the reviews wise of things. I'm going to get the Last of Us review started up first again, then get the Hazbin Hotel, get some other ones, get some War Season ones. I'll probably do Smiling Friends thrown there some capacity. I'll probably do 3 separate videos and just focus on each episode to give them a clear focus and time. Then in case as well, I'll probably get to some more Snack Size box office ones. I'll get to some more variations and reviews. They'll come eventually, so look forward to those. I will probably get around to them in due time, and I will get back to doing a lot more reviews because I just feel like I've procrastinated a lot over the last year. Then gameplay wise stuff, I'm currently have my Premiere Pro open just to edit the Donkey Kong Bonanza video. If you were around on Friday, I actually streamed for the first time. I streamed the first 2 parts for Resident Evil Requiem. Now I couldn't save the first part, but I have part 2 saved on my Twitch, which I will link down in the description and the cases as well. I I'll probably try and do a few more during the week. Maybe like Friday, maybe between Monday and Friday or something, or at least the weekend I'll definitely get some time to do it. I'm just trying to figure out a timetable for wise of things. By the time this episode goes out, the second episode should already be up. Like second stream has already happened, but we'll see in the case of things. But more gameplays and stuff like Mario, Cyberpunk, and other games will be streamed or just playthroughs on my channel, but we'll see in that regards. And I'll probably do a few lives on YouTube as well. And in case of long form stuff, audience choice video is definitely going to happen. The rewatchathon's happening. The anticipated media is still happening. The Hormone Spore is happening, and a lot of variations of long form stuff is coming out as well as some time lapses which I do as either streams or do some other normal build videos. But I will get to those in due time, so look forward to those when I can. But with all that regards now, that's where I'll end the episode for the moment. So if you like what you see here and want to see more from me more frequently, simply like and subscribe. I upload new stuff every single week, aiming for 750 to 1,000 subs on here. And if you want to check out my Twitch as well, I'll link it down below so you can follow me on there as well. And I'll hopefully figure out a schedule and update and visual aesthetic on my Twitch or something like that. I'll figure out the whole thing. It's still early days, but I'll get to it. Any support of like here and Twitch, I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on everything discussed this week down below in the comments from the releases, the trailers, and news stories. Just want to hear your thoughts and stuff. As well, in case you want to get 10% off pure crack, you can use my code Sam Harrison. It's all caps, one word, down below in the description. You can get the link there and get yourself an energy drink that will help you through the spring months. But with all that regards now, I think I'll end the episode there for now. So as always, you'll stay with wonderful people. Have a great day every day. Do many great things. Keep being you because no one else can do what you do. Take care of yourself because mental health is very important. And of course, I've been your host Sam, of course. I shall see you all in the next episode or the next stream. So take care, and I'll see you later.